Trump says they are wrong.
Polls. They are phony polls put out by phony media.
Hillary Clinton warns supporters not to get complacent.
But we're going to keep working really hard to reach as many voters as possible.
While Trump appears to be going it alone, Clinton is pushing beyond her own campaign, now shifting her focus to the down ballot. Odds makers say Democrats are likely to take control of the Senate. 538.com has been following the state of play from the beginning. Considered to be the New York Times of political websites, it's become a must-read this election season. Claire Malone is senior political editor for the data-driven journalism site, and I spoke with her at their New York City headquarters. It's kind of hard to believe that it might not be over when it's finally all over at the beginning of November. Let's talk about that rigging conversation. What does that do to voters? A rigging conversation on one hand, and also the idea that someone is sort of got more distance in the polls sends voters different directions, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for Trump, Trump is obviously, that's an appeal to his base. But then if you're just looking from a sort of strategic Clinton point of view, you want to make sure that your voters are turning out on Election Day. And she wants, in particular, black voters to turn out. That's a constituency that they're worried about getting Obama-level numbers. And, it's been shown that if you talk about this rigging language, there's going to be problems at the polling place. That depresses minority populations. So from a strategic point of view, a get-out-the-vote point of view, I think it's safe to say that it's probably something that Clinton people are worried about.
Early on, many people were voting for a candidate as a move against the other candidate. So if you hated Trump, you were pro-Hillary. We're actually seeing that shift because the reverse was true too. If you hated Hillary, you were going to vote for Trump. That's actually now becoming a pro-candidate vote, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny because they are two they're candidates with historically high unfavorable ratings. But I think something like the debates, you had those 3 debates in a row, which she sort of unequivocally won. And I think that probably did good things for her favorability numbers, where people sort of said, face to face, these choices are, she was very competent in the face of, I would say, Trump's giving vague answers on a lot of policy things. So I think those public appearances, those sort of long stretches of time where she was able to get out her message probably do say something about competency, and voters say, hey, okay, she's maybe better than I thought she was.
Many of the conversations are shifting now to the down ballot. You certainly see Clinton maneuvering the conversations to down ballot races. So looking at Nevada, you have Heck versus Cortez Masto.
Well, I think that, Democrats are really bringing out the big guns with Obama there. I mean, I think there's also the fact that it's Harry Reid's old seat. They want to make sure it's sort of also a symbolic choice, in addition to the fact that, Nevada has a base of voters that is sort of the future of the Democratic Party in places like Nevada and Arizona, where there are a lot of Latinos.
When we talk about Missouri, and you have Kander versus Blunt, Kander being the Democrat, regardless of whether you love him or hate him, watching Kander put together the AR-15 with blindfolded was riveting TV.
It's the power of television, right? I mean, and he's a young guy. I think the fact that he does have military service on his record in a place like Missouri, where I think down ballot people are more, it's pretty solidly red in the presidential column, but down ballot I think people are more likely to consider a Democrat, and he's obviously sort of visually, the visual really promotes his idea of I'm a sort of centrist Democrat, the kind of person who can get stuff done with people in Washington.
And the final one that I'm really interested in is Ayotte and Hassan. Mostly because watching her gymnastics around trying to both distance herself, Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, from Donald Trump, while also embracing the Donald Trump voter has been really interesting to watch her sometimes flail, but also sometimes do successfully.
I think actually Ayotte is a perfect example of something that's happening on local level in Republican parties, where people are sort of, it's a huge partisan divide in this country, and you want your team to win, but there's a little bit of I think a discomfort on a personal level, and that's been interesting and sometimes uncomfortable to watch both candidates and local level people deal with that.
That's probably the phrase, like the uncomfortable to watch kind of defines the last, 16 months
Yep.
of what we've been through? I think that's fair to say.
It's
Claire Malone
fair.
from 538. Nice to see you. Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks for talking to me.